you with a couple of Bees Read.
And we are back with June Book of the Month wins. So notice that we only have one box for Book of the Month, and that's because I was a little salty that Book of the Month did not carry Riley Sager, mostly because I want the Book of Month early. I don't care that it's not coming out till the end of June. I want it now. I want to read it now. And
they did not have it.
They didn't have it. I'm sure it's going to be an add-on in July, but why should I have to wait that long? I need the new Riley Sager novel.
Well, you're going to be at the beach again in July, so you can have a beach read with Riley Sager then.
I will. It'll be great.
Just get over it. It'll be okay.
And then I did get over it, and I went ahead and I ordered She Started It, which was not one we predicted, but it sounded like a really cool thriller, kind of like Mean Girls, but the sequel to Mean Girls, and bloody and awesome. So
bloody and awesome in the same sentence. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
It's a murder book.
I know.
It's thriller.
Okay, well, let's talk about my book that I
have
my book of the month, and we predicted this one last month.
Yes,
but it wasn't there last month. It was
kind of like how Riley Sager wasn't
right. The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. It is hopefully does not have a lot of blood in it. I love women's contemporary fiction. That's kind of my thing. I love it. I mean, I love just about all genres, but this one is probably my favorite. So I'm really looking forward to this. It will have to come after I finish my other book, but definitely that's one that I got. And this one just sounded so interesting. I don't remember what we predicted.
I don't think we predicted
the
this
wishing game,
which did sound really cool.
Yeah, and I got it before she did, so
yes,
I'd already placed my order, but
I was too busy pouting.
She was too busy pouting over Riley Sager, so I just said I cannot wait for her to make a decision. I'm going to order this now, because usually you get yours ordered and yours comes a couple of days before my books do. So
because I waited. I waited 3 days.
She did. So, this one just sounded very interesting. It is about an author and how he's going to has written this book, and I think it's a final in a series or something, and he lives on the Clock Island, and the series is based on there or something along those lines, because I've never read it in anything by Meg Schaefer. These 4 people get to compete or in some way to win this book, and it just sounded like it was just a cool book, and so I got it because I think it'd be an easy read, a fun read. So something, and I think it will be a thriller. I mean, it is a thriller, kind of suspenseful thing. So I think you'll probably end up liking it too. But those were my picks. And respectfully, leave me alone. I love their little which I will get mine eventually. Yes, you will.
But the books that we did guess right, besides the Ellen Hildebrand book, was Lisa C's Lady Tan's Circle of Women, which I said this is going to be one, definitely hands down. Banyan Moon by Thao Tai. Let's see, there was a lot of add-ons we got. My Murder.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I had to go back and forth on whether to get.
I'm surprised you didn't get that one, because I thought about getting it too, but I said no, she'll get that one.
If I hadn't been so pouty, I probably would have gotten it, because this was also the month that they did BFFs get to now ship up to 5 books. And I'm going to be honest, book of the month, if you'd had Riley Sager this month, I would have shipped 5 books. Because I would have gotten My Murder. I would have gotten so many things. I would have definitely gotten The Spectacular as well, which was one we predicted. And The Whispers, which was one we predicted. And it's also supposed to be one of the best books of 2023.
Oh, really?
So I would have had a full box. But, I got in my feelings.
I was going to say, next month, look, come on, get Riley Sager out there so she doesn't pout.
Yes, and I get it's a me thing. It's not a book of the month thing, because they had some spectacular choices. So that was, let's see, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 6 in all that we guessed right. That is a record. Usually it's 4 or 5, but we got them.
We're still getting better, but anyway, if you don't belong to Book of the Month, I mean, I love it, because I was just thinking about it this morning, talking about Karen and everything, and how the books I used to buy, I really were nothing but women's contemporary fiction or maybe a historical romance, and that kind of thing. And then when I started getting my books of the month, I mean, I read, like John Grisham, of course, and those kind of books, but I didn't read a lot of thrillers. But I have read some really great books from, and they do debut authors a lot, and I like that because one day you're going to be a debut author, and maybe they'll pick you up. That would be great.
And they've done some really great debuts. Like they had Taylor Adams when he was a debut, and with No Exit, and it was still one of the most stressful but coolest thrillers I've ever read. I just started his The Last Word, and it's good. It's good, but it gets my blood racing, so I have to put it down. Like with No Exit, if you've read it, it's like I couldn't put it down because there's some child endangerment. Like there's a child in it, and it ends up okay for the kid, but a lot of stuff goes down in the meantime. And in this one, there's a dog. So as soon as the dog showed up, and guys, I'm 3 chapters in because that's how stressful. I start reading and I'm like, oh, heart rate's up. Something's gonna happen to the dog. I'm not here for it. I have no idea if anything's gonna happen to that dog. I don't know. But that's the great thing with Book of the Month is they introduce you to these authors who you love and otherwise probably wouldn't have picked up. Like Riley Sager, I have read all of his novels besides the one that's coming out at the end of this month. Book of the Month, hint, hint. But the reason I picked him up is because of Book of the Month.
Right. Because
I saw his name and I wanted something creepy, and it was exactly
and
what
this
I
is
needed.
Interesting. The whole time you said you were talking about Riley Sager, I thought it was a woman.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought Riley Sager, because he writes these really unique and really cool female characters, I thought Riley Sager was a woman until I got to the end of the first book of his I read, Home Before Dark. When I got to the end of it and I flipped over and there's a man on the back cover flip. Because I didn't flip it to look at who wrote it.
Right.
It's not something I do.
Yeah.
So when I got to the back and I was like, this is a, middle-aged white man, I was like, what? But it's great.
He's a great writer then. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Now, I have not read one of his books yet.
I'll have to think. I'll have to think about which one I loan you.
I only like happy endings. I only like happy endings. So.
I'll have to think about it because they don't. They end okay. I'll figure one out.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
One day, Riley, I'm going to read you, okay? Because she's going to give me the right book to read. But I do like happy
Maybe
endings.
it's his new one, Book of the Month.
It might be. It might be. Whenever you get it and read it.
Yes.
And Book of the Month, if you don't have it next month, you're going to force me to have to buy it for her just so she'll hush. So, yeah.
So get a hold of that, guys. I'm annoying when I don't get what I want. All right. Guys, pick up a Book of the Month subscription if you don't have one. Until then, we'll see you next month.
All right. Bye.